Welcome to Truth and Justice with Vivian King. I'm excited because we're going to bring you another true crime story that happened in the Harris County criminal justice system just last week. It's a very interesting story. It was written up in the Houston Chronicle, where a young man was falsely accused of aggravated robbery. He was in jail for a very long time before he went to trial. A person, a victim, who was truly victimized, but not victimized by this young man, pointed to him in the courtroom and said, "That's the man that robbed me." A jury of 12 peers, Harris County jurors, convicted him, found him guilty of aggravated robbery. This young man is not a stranger to the criminal justice system. He's been previously convicted. A jury gave him life in prison on November 16th, 2011. His lawyer didn't give up the fight, filed a notice of appeal, filed a motion for new trial, and discovered that the young man had been in jail on the day of the robbery, so it couldn't have been him. When that information was brought to the attention of the district attorney researched it, verified it, and did the right thing by joining in the motion for new trial, wherein the judge dismissed the case. And I'm kind of saying that wrong. Really, the district attorney dismissed the case, because one of my goals in this show is to educate urban people, young people, about the criminal justice system. I get real frustrated as a criminal lawyer with my clients who are 17, 18, 19, and 20 telling me, "Well, Ms. King, this is the way the criminal justice system works. This is what happens." And they have no idea what happens down there. They listen to, we call jail lawyers, jailhouse lawyers, who have no idea. And if they did, they wouldn't be in jail. So I want to try to educate urban people, young people, about the criminal justice system. And I want it to work for all of us. I'm a person that does not like crime, and I particularly don't like young men that play with guns, put guns in people's faces, and take their property. But on the other hand, we have a duty in society to make sure if we take somebody's life, we take the right life. If we lock someone up for the rest of their lives, it's the right person. And prosecutors take an oath. I was a prosecutor once from 1992 to 1995. The prosecutor's oath is not to convict, but to see that justice is done. And that means if there's any clues out there, they should look at those clues and make sure that they're convicting the right person and not coerce pleas, not make people plead guilty to crimes they didn't commit. Let me go to our guest. Today we're going to tell the story of LaDondrell Montgomery. It's been in the news. In the studio with me, I have LaDondrell's father, Bishop Larry Montgomery. I also have Minister Jeremiah, who's been crusading in Mr. Montgomery's behalf. I'll start off by letting Bishop Montgomery tell the story of his son. So, Bishop, tell us about your son and what you want the viewers to know about this case.
First of all, I want to say thank you, Ms. King, for allowing us to come on your program today to share this information. I'm a father of LaDondrell Montgomery, and I've had the opportunity to sit in the courts for the last several weeks in the Harris County and observe the court system. My son has been in trouble before, and he's very much aware of the law. However, this particular crime that he was just picked up, snatched out, and brought down and put in a lineup, the person in the case, first case, they could not identify him in the lineup. He was held in the Harris County jail 6 months. Later, then they brought in 3 more cases against him. Okay, those three cases went to trial, and turned up with a hung jury in those trials. This probably 2 months or 3 months later, I don't have the dates just exactly right, but after the DA saw that they was coming short with the case, they actually came up with another case, you know, and this case is the case that he was convicted and sentenced life in prison on. And I had the opportunity. I believe in justice. I believe that if you do the crime, you ought to do the time. And but this last several months, just sitting in the courts with my son, who believed that he would have been found innocent if he go before a jury, and knowing the law, knowing he could have copped a plea and settled for some time, but he chose to go before a judge and the jury because he was convinced that he had not did anything wrong. And I backed him all the way to and sit in the courtroom through several different trials and with 3 hung juries. Then they popped up this last case here with a video and witnesses, and it just came up out of nowhere. Matter of fact, when it came up, the DA sent word to my son that even his God couldn't save him now.
Wow.
And
wow. Well, hold on. Let me stop. Let me stop and explore that. His God cannot save him now. Now, how did that message come? Was it through his lawyer? Was it in the courtroom? How did that message get received?
That message came through his lawyer. The DA spoke to his lawyer and to tell his son, which was his client, my son, which was his client, even his God could not save him now.
And do you think she had that attitude because the DA had that attitude because he had been had hung juries in 3 prior cases? So now we got him, and God's not going to even save him.
Exactly,
now.
exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And when she said that, me being a minister of the gospel for 38 years now, and dealing with people, you know, it just was an attack, an assignment, you know, upon my son personally, you know, for a DA who's supposed to be in position to find justice. It seemed that the message came clear to me that she was looking for a conviction. And I personally witnessed, standing in the foyer of the attorney's room, the DA talking to one of the witnesses, the young lady who identified my son in the video, which was clearly not him.
And just to give our viewers some context, LaDondrell was accused of, I have this document I want to go to. On December 13th, 2009, LaDondrell was accused of, let me see the date, there it is, December 13th, 2009, LaDondrell was accused of threatening and placing LaToya Allen in fear of imminent bodily harm, and by stealing or taking something from her, robbing her at gunpoint with a firearm. All right, so I want to make sure that that's clear. And the date that this was prepared was September 14th, 2011, and there's LaDondrell's name. So I want that to be clear.
Yes, okay.
So the lady's name, the lady LaToya Allen, who we believe was victimized.
Yes, she was. She was.
And we feel for her as a victim.
Yes, we do.
But she should have an independent recollection of the person to make an honest identification. And what you're complaining about now, if I understand you correctly, is the way she was coached into making a false identification. So explain that process, please.
That's correct. The way she was coached. As I was saying, she was in the room, and the DA was sitting in the room with them with a laptop computer with showing her the video of the crime that took place at the time, where she was there, Miss LaToya. And the DA actually was pointing to the gentleman in the video with LaToya in tears looking, and it's as if she were convincing LaToya to say what she wanted her to say.
Wow. And
that just, I'm telling you, it vexed me to see that this woman's supposed to be standing for justice actually is coercing a victim to get a conviction rather than justice. and it shined a different light on me. And as far as the criminal system, I believe in justice, but I believe that there is a lot of injustice in the system, and this is why we're here tonight. And I appreciate you allowing us this time to come on your program to help my son. I'm trying desperately to save my son, because when the DA had dismissed 5 cases because they had one case that they convicted him to a life sentence on, here it is, they reach back and get 5 cases to bring him back to go through it, to all they need is 1, because my son is a 2-time felon.
Right.
So they know that if they get just 1 conviction out of 5 cases, then he still gets a life sentence all over again. And I feel like it's injustice. And I have a real strong feeling that that has occurred with the Harris County system. It seemed to me like they are just a diabolical, evil perception of the law, that with the color of justice, that portray the color of justice, but behind the scene, it's really scrambling and scraping just to convict our young people. And as a minister of the gospel, I've got to stand up, and I've got to be a voice, not only for my son now, but for other young men who are pushed because of their economical situation and different other areas in their life, who are pushed to take a plea, even if they're innocent. They plead guilty just to get a shorter time, only because they cannot afford a good criminal attorney to represent them properly.
Right.
And it seemed like the justice system is allowing this to happen, you know. I fight for people every day as a man of God, and I fight to save lives and help people. But to come into the system and find this injustice working deliberately just to convict my son, my only son, wow, it really ticks me off, and I'm upset in a good way, because it's not upsetting me to, you know, to get mad and angry, but it's upsetting me to do something about it. And so I'll tell all our young men and women, if you're not in trouble within the grips of the law, don't. Obey your parents. Do what's right. Do not allow yourself to become a victim of the system, because the system is not caring for you. So I just wanted to say that, and I appreciate you for this opportunity. My son is back in the jail now. They won't release him. They won't give him a PR bond. They have him held up where he can't do anything, you know, but wait on a trial now. Which a trial, we asked for a dismissal because he was innocent. Instead of releasing, though they did release those cases, they brought them back, you know. So it's like, why you bring something back that you already dismissed? That's right. You know, that's wrong to me, you know. If I give you something, and just because you don't do, I don't get what I'm supposed to get, I come and take back what I give you. To me, that's wrong, and we expect more out of our judicial system.
Let me tell you what frustrates me as a criminal lawyer is that I want to tell stories like yours, because I'm frustrated that urban Houston doesn't vote and doesn't get involved in the criminal justice system. We don't know who our judges are. You don't know who the judges you went before. You did you vote for them? Did you not vote for them? We expect a system to take care of us that we don't participate in.
You're right.
And what I want viewers to do is listen and make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you know who the 37 criminal judges are in Harris County. Make sure that they're not afraid to do the right thing, and that we as a community support them in doing the right thing.
Yes.
That it doesn't become a system of just arrest everybody, get a conviction. The reason why the assistant district attorney could do what she did is because the everyday person like LaDondrell is not voting.
Yes.
The everyday person that's down there in that courthouse is not voting.
Yes.
I hear young people say, well, they're going to do what they want to do. No, they're going to do what you let them do. If you ask the society, you ask the powers, the authority figures at the polls to do the right thing, they do the right thing. you know, there were people who did the right thing in LaDondrell's prior cases. That's why he got a hung jury. That means that 12 citizens could not agree that he was the person who did those 3 robberies. Because of his past, they have decided that he's a criminal for always.
Right.
And he changed his life, apparently. He has a 2-year-old child. He has a wife. He's 36. And statistics show that people chill out when they get older.
Yes.
They start trying to be more responsible.
Right.
They get a family. They do the things that they didn't do when they were 22 years old or 23 years old. They respect life and people more. Now, I don't know LaDondrell personally. I don't know if he's guilty or not guilty of the other cases, but it certainly appears, based on what society has said already, in 3 cases, it's a hung jury. They couldn't decide. The one that they do convict him of, they find that he was in jail at the time on a domestic violence case. So apparently there's something wrong. And instead of our prosecution, our prosecutors who work for all of us, who work for Harris County, being vindictive and filing cases back on him as a knee-jerk reaction, I think that they should open-mindedly talk to the victims of the other crimes. Because one of the things that does disturb me is when you say that you saw the prosecutor in a private room talking to the victim, showing her a surveillance video, trying to convince her that this is the guy.
Yes.
And what I also find compelling about the story was that LaToya Allen, the victim, was with her boyfriend, who was an Army man who said who couldn't lie under oath and say that that was him. And we'll have Minister Jeremiah, who watched a lot of the trial, talk about that a little bit more. I just want to kind of throw that teaser out.
Yes.
But anyway, I appreciate you saying that, and I do want to, I do believe that the system needs a change. It's broken.
Yes, yes.
When you go down to that courthouse, what frustrates me as a lawyer, and I make my money down there,
Yes.
but what frustrates me as a lawyer is seeing the cattle herd of people trying to get into that building at 9 o'clock.
Yes.
It's so many people getting there, and
Right.
I'm frustrated with the system that says, gotcha, I got you for this, I got you for that. You know, everybody doesn't have to get got.
Right.
I mean, sometimes we need to do what the right thing is. And before the prosecutor added all those cases back on him, I wish they would have realized it's been 4 cases that we've had problems with. Why would we keep adding
Yes.
cases to this?
Correct.
Why don't we take a good look? Because the statute of limitations is 5 years. I mean, they could take a good look at it, and maybe 6 months from now, come back when they know what case. Because probably there's been false IDs in a lot of them. Apparently, he has a very common look.
Right.
If you go on the Cron.com and look at the article titled "Convicted Man Was in Jail When Crime Occurred," it was written by Brian Rogers of the Houston Chronicle, Friday, December 9th. When you go on the website, you actually see his face, and he has just a real common face.
Right,
It's just a real common black man's face.
Right.
You'll see that maybe there's some other problems with the case, but I don't know those. I also have in the studio Minister Jeremiah, who was a minister in this case and helped with this case, who has some comments that he wants the public to know about.
Yeah, first of all, Ms. King, I want to thank you for allowing us on the show. We are very grateful for this, and we wish we had more lawyers like you that was concerned in this perspective. And I was there when they gave you the award for being the Lawyer of the Year, and I just want to say I'm honored to sit here with you. I've been in and out this system for over 40 years myself. I got a full part in 1983. A young man told me that owned a jewelry store on Fountain View in Westheimer, Bullock's Jewelry Store, the owner, said, "Binder, you robbed my store," and pointed me out and said I took $1 million out of the store on 12 o'clock in 1979. 5 people took the witness stand and said I was in Dallas. One of them was a security guard at the hotel, and one was a white woman in a wheelchair. I flew them all down. They took the witness stand and said, no, Binder was in Dallas, Texas. At the same time, my lawyer's name was Grant U. Hardaway, attorney at law. They found me guilty, gave me 18 years. I went to prison.
Wow.
So while I was in prison, so I understand what your son feels.
Yeah.
So I don't have sympathy for him, I have empathy. If it don't be for Scott Carpenter, a young DA white man that quit the system and went to Fort Bend, Scott Carpenter, the DA, I talked to him when I got home. He said, I couldn't sleep for 3 years. He said, I told him that you were not guilty, and they hid the evidence.
Wow.
He said, I left.
Was he the prosecutor who prosecuted you?
Yes.
But why would he prosecute you? He had to? I mean, why would he prosecute you?
He was the second prosecutor.
Okay.
The leading prosecutor had the stuff.
Right.
And when Scott found it, that I was not there, and I was in Dallas, and he seen them hide the evidence, that was Marie Terrell's husband, Let's Go Jay. My name was JJ. Her husband's name was Jay. So Scott went to the chief and said, look, we got Binder wrong. He said, I don't care. We want him anyhow. He said, but we got him wrong. He said, we got him anyhow. So Scott Carpenter's going to be in my movie. He told Ronald Ray the same thing I'm telling you now, attorney at law, who was in Fort Bend. He said John was innocent all the time. They just wanted him off the street. Your son is innocent. They want him off the street. This is not new. This was 1979. We in 2011 going to 2012. It didn't happen again. This young lady pointed this young man out and said, that's him.
Now let's slow down a little bit, Minister Jeremiah. You're telling us a great story, and thanks for. We're going to have one show just on you because I know you have some stories to tell. But let's talk.
It tied in. That's why I did.
Oh no, and it's a great tie-in. No, that's a great transition. I like it. But you have good stories, so I'm just saying we want to hear from you too.
Thank you.
But let's just talk about this though. You watched a lot of the trial, isn't that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you saw LaToya Allen point out LaDondrell as the person who committed this crime.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell us about her boyfriend who was with her when she was robbed. Tell us about how she described how this robbery occurred. Give us a little bit more background.
Well,
because this case can't be tried again. He's been acquitted, so this one can't come back.
Well, what I like to say, if it's all right with you, I want to show you how the system is broke down, because the guy that's more qualified than his girlfriend, that has been to the Marines and been to the Army as a professional. He's a professional. That's what he do. That's what he did in the Army. He said, I can't do it. And the DA kept going after him, said, this him. He kept looking at him and say, I can't say that. I can't send a man to prison. I'm not sure. It may look like him a little bit, but I'm not sure. I can't say that's him. She said, what? Do it. She said, so Mr. Ray came up and said, is that him? He said, no, it's not him.
Wow.
I can't say that's him.
So even in this trial where he was acquitted, where he was found guilty and got life, LaToya's boyfriend said that's not him.
Yes.
And so the
and had a gun in his face, man.
Wow. Wow. And said that's not him.
So I would like to.
And he's a man that wouldn't have been afraid to look a gunman in the eye because he's been in the Marines. And you said he was a big, handsome man, right?
Yeah.
Big, healthy guy.
Big, healthy, handsome young guy, very intellectual, very intelligent.
Yes.
The DA them kept trying to sway him. He would not go. He said, I cannot say it. And then she walked over there, the little DA, head DA, walked over behind Mr. Montgomery and pointed at him at the jury. This is the man robbed it. He's a robber. He robbed them people. She specifically said she knew it. I knew you robbed. He's a robber. Look at him sitting here like he's a robber, trying to change his face and change his hair, not change his glass. He is a robber, and you should find him guilty.
And the jury did just that. They found him guilty.
This is another thing that's been said, Ms. King. Out of the three cases that have been dismissed on two of the hung juries, it was 6 and 6 and 11 and 1. She tried one of the cases twice on the second one. So 3 cases have been dismissed.
Wow.
Watch this. She had 6 cases to pick out of. Most DAs, and we all know this, gonna pick their strongest case. Her strongest case was the one she tried first. She brought it back again and used her strongest case again with the second strongest case. She lost him. Then she came to her third strongest case and tried him and gave him life. And then went outside and told the wife and the mother, your God didn't save you now, where you going?
Oof.
She went out in the hall and told them people that.
Now, who did she actually say that to?
She said it to the mother and the wife. And the mother and wife told her in her face in front of Channel 13. And I say, and that's why Brian Rogers asked us, is it personal? Oh, it's not personal. I say, man, why is it not personal when you told the lawyer that, you told Ms. Booker that, you told Ms. Ray that, you told the wife that, you told the mother that, and they crying, they got a life sentence? I said, ma'am, how do you sleep at night? She said, I sleep at night well.
Hold that thought, Minister. We're going to take a call right now. Caller, you're on.
Yes. Can you tell me if this case received any investigation at all?
That's a good question. Minister Jeremiah, from what you saw, since you were standing there with the family, could you tell that if it was investigated at all?
Yes, ma'am, it was investigated, but they've been, for some unknown reason, the young man, I'm glad you said that, when he was guilty, Ms. King and the caller, he said, I pleaded guilty. I copped out. He said, but I can't say it this time because I went and got a job, got married, and had a new baby. He said, I didn't rob. And I would not clean the books up with my name. He said, I'll take a life sentence. I will not. They offered him 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, 35 years. He said, I'm not taking one day. He said, I'm not taking it because he said, I didn't rob this time. He said, I have robbed before. He said, but I'm not a robber anymore. I have a wife and a family. My father's a bishop. I'm in church with him now. I got a newborn baby, and it's not right. And they want to take these 5 cases and bring them back to send this boy to trial up to life because he's a 2-time loser. It's not right. And she's using taxpayers' money to do this. Yes, it's been investigated, and she tried the case, and it was the weakest cases, and she knows for a fact that the jury will not get this boy justice.
Wow. What other questions do you have, caller? What other thoughts do you have?
Well, the point is, even though you say it was investigated, it appears that because he had robbed, it wasn't did as thoroughly as it should have been.
Oh, I agree with you. When someone is in jail, and let's explore this, caller. Today is December 14, 2011. Tell me right now, what were you doing December 14, 2009? At 9:30 p.m.
I couldn't begin to tell you exactly on that day what I was doing.
Especially at a specific time, 9:30, when a place is robbed. Where were you? Now, most of us are at work during the daytime, but if it's at night, can we really account for where we were 2 years ago?
No.
That's really true when it comes to mine. But if I was in jail, I would think that if I was in jail on that day, somebody needs to check out to see.
Certainly. Certainly. The police investigator should have done it. The police are the ones that have the most police information. The police have the National Crime Information System. I'm a defense lawyer. I can look up Harris County records. I can look up specific records, but I don't have the police database. That National Crime Information System is the police database. They know where everybody was all over the country. Okay? They know if I was in jail in New York, in California, in Galveston. And they have access to call another police agency and say, we see he was booked this day. When was he released? What this did require would have been, if he would have remembered, because he went in for domestic violence, came in and came out, he probably didn't even remember that he went in and out that day. But, you know, if you have a fight with your spouse, it's probably a bad day. You're not really remembering it. But one of the things I try to do in my cases is if a person says they're somewhere, I actually subpoena the booking records to show when they were in and when they were out. And it's a lesson learned. I'm sure that the lawyers and investigators in that case will do this if someone doesn't. To me, the police officers should have investigated that before they drug him into a lineup. If they put him in a lineup, they should have known that he was free that day.
The DA knew that.
I believe the DA knew that he was in jail.
Because she used it for enhancement for the sentencing.
Yes, she
Ma'am,
did.
what she did, she got in front of the judge. She brought up, said, Judge, he was in jail. No, she said he was on domestic violence on this day here. She said it.
She said the date.
She said it. She said the date. He said he was when he and then right on the side of the date.
She said the exact date and still didn't.
The 11th, 12th. She said the 11th. She seen the 12th, 13th, and 14th. Got out the 14th.
Right.
On December 9, December 11th. December 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. How it done is we're going to prove this. She knew for a fact after she got that and used it for enhancement and told the judge he slapped his wife and found guilty, she knew for a fact when she did that he was in jail.
And let's go to this paperwork right here. We see that on this paperwork that we have, that I pulled off of the county website, that the date is December 13, 2009. So if the prosecutor did use in punishment all of his prior bad conduct, because once the jury finds you guilty, then there's a separate trial for punishment, and that's when all of his priors come in, or any allegation of bad conduct. It doesn't even have to be a prior offense. It could be you beat up the man down the street and nobody called the police, but you're still a bad actor and you need to go to jail because you're dangerous. So what Minister Jeremiah is saying he witnessed is that the prosecutor knew he was in jail on December the 9th and not released till December the 14th, and somehow nobody caught that. And it was caught later after it was over. But the exercise in this is that how far our system will go to convince victims that somebody robbed them when they didn't do it. Isn't that amazing, though?
Yes.
That is very amazing. And then sentence them to life. I mean, with no...
Let me show you something else. Let's go, cameraman, take me to this next document, please. Look at this. So this is what's called a judgment of conviction. Look at that, judgment of conviction by a jury. There's LaDondrell's name, and look at this. The date of the judge was November 16th. I'm going to take you a little bit further and show you that he got life. That is his punishment. You see that? Punishment in place of confinement, life in the institutional division of TDC, Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Can you believe that? I mean, that is amazing. He had been in jail. I'm going to show you another little document. He had been in jail, let me show you this, 103 days at that time, awaiting this trial, November 16th. 103 days he'd already been in there waiting. Isn't that amazing, caller?
Very, very amazing. Very.
And then, caller, then after they took the 5 robberies off of him, they took the 5 robberies off him, the 5 weak robberies off of him, because they always use the strongest robberies first. Then, after she knew that he was in jail at the same time, she got so upset, she put him back on him and never let him out, and told the mother and told the wife, see, can your God help you now? And told the lawyer the same thing.
That's right.
I can't believe this.
Let's go back to the cameraman. Cameraman, let me show you this other document. So then, when they find out that he had been in jail, you see that, let me show you this date, December 8th, 2011. This is the motion for dismissal for LaDondrell Montgomery, aggravated robbery, motion for dismissal. Dismissal for insufficient evidence, defendant in custody at time of offense. So this happened, so we saw that he was convicted and given life November 16th, and the December 8th, the government had to go back and eat their words. The lesson I want to also teach you here is that a lot of times I hear my clients say, well, the judge should dismiss it. Judges can't dismiss cases. Judges don't file cases. Judges are referees between the parties, between the prosecution and the defense. They're the gatekeeper for justice. They're the people that's supposed to make sure justice is done. The judge can't dismiss it. The motion for dismissal is from the prosecutor, okay? And because the prosecutor brought the charges, believing what the police officer's investigation had revealed, and then the prosecutors have to dismiss it. Now, the judge signs it. It's dated, but it's a prosecution motion. It's not from the judges. So I just want to use that as a teaching moment. Another thing I want to show you is I did pull the records, and what Minister Jeremiah is saying is true. He was, all of those cases were refiled because of that. They were refiled So I don't know why, but they refiled them. They dismissed them.
Right back.
They dismissed them all.
They had dismissed it and then refiled it.
Yeah, they dismissed all of those other cases he had November 16th when he got life. But when they discovered that he had been in jail, they went back and filed all those cases on him again. So he still has 5 pending cases, even though he's been to trial on 3 or 4 of them already.
4.
He's been to trial on 4 cases. Thank you, caller, for calling.
Show the baby.
Thank you.
Okay.
I want to show this beautiful daughter how she was in the hall and heard this kind of language. And this is the wife here, and this is the mother. Yes. Show that, Miss Vivian.
Okay, this is Mr. Montgomery, LaDondrell's mother, and this is his wife, and this is his daughter. When it was in the Houston Chronicle, is that December 9th? Is that last Friday? When it was in the Chronicle. So let's. What do you think? And I'm gonna go back to the Bishop. Bishop, what do you think? Bishop, what do you think could change about this system? What changes do you think can be made? We know we have a system that assumes everybody's guilty instead of innocent. And maybe that's good sometimes, because maybe sometimes if I'm convinced somebody robbed me, I do want the prosecutor to act like, you know, he did it, if I'm sure of it. What do you think with the balance of the scales of justice, the victim who wants a conviction and doesn't want this person on the street robbing people anymore, and then this person who's innocent? How do we balance that in society? What do you think?
Well, I first of all, I believe that we've got to start out with jury, getting people to come, of different ethnic groups to come, because what I saw in this particular case was it seemed like more the Caucasians coming to jury trial, and
Hold that thought, please. We have a caller. Let me take this call. Caller, you're on the line.
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Listen, my question is, if you get convicted of a Class A misdemeanor, and the whole case went sour, but you still was convicted for the Class A misdemeanor, can you come back and overturn that decision?
Yes, sir, you can. You can file a writ of hire a lawyer to file a writ of habeas corpus, or you can do it yourself. It's 11.07 in the Code of Criminal Procedure. You can read about it. You can Google now. This is great about the internet. You can Google the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure 11.07. That's the rules on a writ of habeas corpus. You can do it yourself, or you can retain counsel to help you with that. You have to have newly discovered evidence that wasn't available at the time. That's how a lot of people are exonerated on DNA cases. They're in jail. Someone has pointed out that this man raped me, but at the time, 15 years ago, we didn't have sophisticated DNA evidence, and now we do. The biological material was maintained, and now we have sophisticated technology that can identify the DNA or the lack thereof of identification. And they do that through a vehicle called a writ of habeas corpus, which means let my body free. So yes, you can do that, and there are lots of good lawyers in Houston that do writs. And do you have another question?
Actually,
What is your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the topic that we're dealing with today? Are you a registered voter? Are you participating in the process like it's yours to make sure that the right people are convicted and the wrong people are set free?
well, I'm gonna tell you something. The prisons are filled with people that are actually innocent. To be honest with you, and the judicial system actually knows this. But
Will you help us? Will you help us do the right thing?
well, I mean, if my voice can change anything, definitely, I definitely can. I would love to actually sit in and actually let my voice be heard, because myself, I experienced something of that nature at the beginning of the year, and what happened was I had a 25-year-old record, and they brought that back up on me again. I've been totally clean for 25 years, and it was a little misdemeanor Class A for hearsay, and they brought all that information back up on me again. And like I said before, this time, like I said before, I was totally innocent, stuff in nature there. But I was always told that once you sign this paper from the court-appointed lawyer, you cannot come back and try to reopen up this case.
Well, only if you're not guilty of it do you do a writ of habeas corpus. So, I mean, if you were guilty of it, you got to just ride with it. But if you're not guilty of it, then that's the only time that you try to bring in newly discovered evidence and fight it. Records are important. 20 years ago, they didn't keep computer records. They didn't have computers like they do now. So it is more adversely, it does more adversely affect people now than it did before. Can you explore your thoughts on what happened to Mr. Montgomery? Do you have any opinion about his case?
This may sound really crazy, but I just stumbled across you guys' show. I was channel surfing, and I probably caught maybe the last.
Oh, okay.
And I called in a couple of times, the phone busy, but I finally got through, and I had a situation myself. I just wanted to ask a question.
Does that satisfy you, caller?
It does, and like I said,
we'll be here every Wednesday from 6:30 to 7:30 with the urban view of true crime stories at the Harris County Criminal Justice System. Please tune in. Please put it on your Facebook. Please register to vote. Please participate, because every voice is important. Thank you.
Thank you.
As I was saying, I believe that we've got to do something to change. I'm not that fluent in the law, but what I experienced the last several months, it appealed to me, just through observation, that we've got to change legislation or whatever we do to change the way the juries are picked, to make sure that on the jury that it's not just all one ethnic group, because, we assume that their prejudiceness is not there, but in reality,
it is.
We've got to deal with the issue from the right perspective,
Hold that thought again. I'm going to take this call.
Come on.
Caller, you're on. Turn your TV down, caller. Do you have a thought on this matter? Okay, that was a game. Okay. All right, sorry. I agree with you. One of the things I've preached about in my volunteer work around the city is for people to go to jury duty,
Yes.
register to vote, go to jury duty. It doesn't come from voter registrations, jurors that are picked. It comes from your driver's license. Come and be honest.
Right.
Don't come and say, I can't stand. You know, what a
Yes.
lot of black people will say is, and the question prosecutors ask is, who, because of religious reasons, can't stand in judgment of people. That always bothers me.
Yeah.
It always bothers me that people say that because, you know, black people are some of the most judgmental people in the world. We can judge anybody. And that bothers me is because you're not might not be judging the person. You're just trying to determine if the person is credible. If the
Right.
people who swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, are actually telling the truth. Let me
Yes.
take this call, please. Caller, you're on.
Yes, this is DJ Dow. I'm calling, watching your show, and I want to commend you guys. I actually know Minister Jeremiah through a guy promoter I work with named Fry. Do you remember a guy named Fry, Minister Jeremiah?
That's my godson. Yes, I do.
Yeah, I met you several times before. I promoted and did a lot of events with you guys, and I commend you for your work in the community. And you also, ma'am, and the minister there, the bishop, my heart goes out to you and your family. I have a
Thank you.
brother that's locked up now in Atwater, California Federal Penitentiary for life for conspiracy for something that really couldn't be proven. But because he's a black male, you know, society stole him and stole his life, stole his future. He's been locked up for 10 years.
God bless you. God bless you. And don't you want to join me in asking young people to register to vote, to, when they get called to jury duty, to see it as their civic responsibility in this community to go and to debate with those jurors. When those 12 jurors close up, the reason why people fought for us to be on juries is so that our voice is heard and that our perspective is heard. And one of these weeks, I'm going to try to bring a juror, a former juror, maybe a couple shows, to let them know how devastating it is back there. I once had a case where it was one black lady on the jury. We didn't even realize she was black. She was so light-skinned. And when the jury found this young man guilty of aggravated robbery, the jury was polled. After someone's found guilty, the defense can say, have each person say, is this your verdict, ma'am? Is this your verdict, sir? And they have to say yes, no, to make sure it's true. And one woman miraculously said, no, this is not my verdict. They had to go back and deliberate again.
Well,
this woman, listen to me, Carla. This woman found my phone number, knowing my name, found my home phone number, called me at about midnight that night, boo-hooing and crying, saying if she could have jumped out of that room, she would have. If I could have heard what those jurors were saying to her to try to make her change her vote, because she realized that that man had not done that. Because the biggest problem with these cases is cross-racial identification. It's hard to identify people. I've talked to people who've been victimized, and please, whoever's listening, don't think I'm for a proponent for crime. I do not like violent crime. Do not. I think it's deplorable for people to take other people's property that they've worked very hard for. But on the other hand, we want to put the right people in jail. We do not want to put the wrong people in jail. Because we still have robbers out there. If LaDondrell went to jail for life for this, the man who actually robbed her is still around here robbing the rest of us. And that's not fair.
Well, if I can make a point.
Yes, sir.
We as black people have to be honest with ourselves also. And like you just said, we know that we're not 100% saints. I'm from the South Park area. I live in 3rd Ward. I had a company that's right outside of 5th Ward. You know, I've been 44 acres. Houston is my neighborhood.
Yes,
I'm really as hood as it gets, but I'm educated, and I'm one of the guys who made it out. But I talk to young brothers every day. We got to change our mentality. We got to stop, you know, just going to the club and want to chase the girls. And the average cat in the hood is not thinking about voting. The midterm elections, they're not voting. That's why you get these racist judges in there, because we're not voting.
Exactly. And the judges know, and the judges know you don't vote, and they know that they can do what they do down there.
Right.
I think most of the judges are good people. I know them. I've been prosecutors with them, but I just don't think they get it because we haven't invited them to get it. We need to come to the table. They're welcome. They'll welcome us to the table.
Well,
they'll listen to our perspective, but we got to come and we got to care, and they'll listen to us.
We have to mobilize those, even though it's a percentage of us who are not in the know and not doing what they need to do. It's a big percentage of us who are, and we have to mobilize those people and work from within instead of dividing each other.
Yes, sir.
From religion or whatever. We have to come together, Muslim, Christian. If we don't stand a chance. We have a black man in the White House, and it's getting worse.
And we won't even support him. We're going to let them dog him to death. And so
He
you so on it. Will you watch my show every week and call in? I like that. You got some.
Yeah.
You're giving us some different points of view. Just keep
ma'am,
it.
every week. What time? This is what, Wednesday?
It's going to be Wednesday nights, every Wednesday from 6:30 to 7:30. I pre-taped a few shows because the studio is going to be actually closed the next 2 weeks. But I still want you to watch because we've pre-taped some great shows. One on Haverstock and different stories. But I'm going to run for 26 weeks every Wednesday, and I'm going to bring you real crime stories from a different perspective. It's not just going to be lawyers talking. Y'all are tired of listening to us talk. We're going to let the victims talk. We're going to let the parents talk, the accused, and we're going to...
If I can make one more quick point, and after I get off, I would like to hear something from Minister Jeremiah, because he's a strong speaker. I like to hear him. But
you're not going to let him steal my show now, I'm just teasing.
No, but I love the guy. He don't remember who I am, but I really support you.
He will. You can call him.
I want to call every week, and what I want to do is mobilize Minister Jeremiah, the Zeros, the Trays, because this is what the kids listen to. They're not going to listen to us. They're going to listen to people that listen every day on the radio.
And I live in the trade, too. And if you have any interesting shows or current stories, you're welcome to call my office number, which will be at the end. And my name is Vivian King. You can find us all. Thank you. We're going to talk a little bit more and take another call because we only have about 10 more minutes. Thank you so much.
Mr. Jeremiah, let me hear you. Thank you.
All right, we're going to let him talk for a minute. All right, Minister Jeremiah, give me about 2 minutes or something. What do you want to know about?
I just want to say thank you, young man, and I pray that I can keep doing work like this. Pastor Montgomery, Bishop Montgomery has trusted me to be the spokesperson of something of this magnificent. It's one thing we're missing here, and we're going to win with this one. The devil playing and God playing, but God's the best of planners. In this so-called Christian country, they say this is a Christian country. What it's saying in John, it said that to get somebody guilty, you need two people. But Jesus said in John 8, he said, I'm one, and my Father's the other. Why it is in the Bible biblical? It takes two witnesses to make somebody guilty. But in this messed up system we're in, it takes one. We can see now that one don't work because in Troy Davis, they executed this man when the Pope sent over here and said something is wrong, and 7 to 8 people recanted. 2 of them say we made it up.
Wow.
And they still prosecuted this boy and waited 8 to 9 hours later, and they still didn't want to do it because they knew he was not guilty. The same way they did Shaka Sankofa, Gary Graham, when they had one. And Jesse Jackson came down and they never have 2 witnesses. Why do we keep killing people and with one witness? The same way the boy Green did the 27 years and did not do it with the DNA. The same boy in the Congo.
Hold that thought. It's a great point, but we want to take a call. We want to talk to our community. Caller, you're on.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry, good evening.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got in late, so I'm just tuning in. I saw the news about this guy that was falsely accused, talking about he was in jail when his crime took place.
Hey, that's our topic tonight. We have his father here who's been talking. We've told the whole story tonight. We started at 6:30, but that's our topic tonight.
Okay.
You're right on time. Give us your thoughts on that.
Okay, question. Did he have any priors?
Absolutely. That's the problem. Because he had been a robber in his prior life, and he had 2 priors, and I have the document right here. Let's, cameraman, let's go to the document again, if you can. All right, see, this is what he was charged with. This is his indictment paper, December 13, 2009. He was actually in jail December 9th through December 14th. You see the 2 priors. This is a paragraph of a prior for aggravated robbery, May 11th, 1998, and then you see another prior. So you know once you have somebody with a prior, with 2 priors, then, the cards are stacked against you. By the grace of God, he had a legitimate alibi that nobody could, it was impenetrable. There's just nothing you could do about it. Unfortunately, they didn't have the documents in court during the trial, but by the grace of God, within just a few weeks, the documents were discovered.
Right. My take is, once you have any priors, it seems like you can't get anything done once you're behind there. You try to send letters out, your letters might not even leave the county jail to even reach your relatives. If your loved ones send you mail, you may not receive those letters. Seems like once you have any priors, you're back against the wall, like you said, and they'll lock you up and throw it away the key. Now, my question is, I heard you talking about the jury. how often is the grand jury made up? I know the federal judges appointed by the president, but how often do they rotate the grand jury?
Now, there's two systems, right? The federal judges are appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. That's at 515 Rusk, and very few cases are federal. The people that we're dealing with are state court. They violated a state penal law. It's at 1201 Franklin. We have 37 judges, and they are voted in every 4 years. So judges are going to be on the ballot with the president. And the problem is Harris County is a Republican county. You go vote for either, let's say if Gingrich is the Republican nominee, Gingrich, and most people, it's 2 million registered voters in Harris County, Kingwood, Tomball, Clear Lake. They're going to go straight ticket R, and all the judges that are going to come fall in line with them. It also happens when Governor Perry runs. And so you elect them, you just don't know who they are because you don't get out and vote and research it. You can go and vote straight D, or you can actually research. Unfortunately, our Texas system, you don't vote for the person. During city elections, you vote for the person. It's either Jolanda Jones versus Jack Christie. You don't know if they're a Democrat or Republican because that's not a part of the ballot. You vote for the person. But with judges, you don't vote for me, you vote for a party. So we have to start getting educated enough to go vote for a party. Like we need to vote for straight D. We need to vote, well, if you want to, or you can vote straight R. It depends on who you want to vote for. But you need to vote, and you need to realize that people voted last time, and that's why our vote is being disenfranchised now with this voter education, with this voter ID card and things like that. So know that that's to disenfranchise the urban person who's going to be down there at that courthouse. I want you to be empowered to register to vote early, like right now. You can go online at Harris County Votes and re-register, change your address, and be a part of this system. I'm sorry I cut you off. What are your other thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I agree. I'm a registered voter. I'm a registered voter, and I always vote.
Well, make sure everybody in your household and in your family is registered to vote.
And anybody you know.
Yes.
Yes, but my question was, you know how the grand jury hear a case and decide to indict.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you. The grand jury is made up of 12 citizens who sit for 3 months. And each judge has to impanel a grand jury. So say like it's 22 felony judges, and only felonies are indicted, okay, and go before a grand jury, not misdemeanors. And we have 15 misdemeanors. So like if you're on a grand jury, you can be on a grand jury. You can call a judge, or you can let me know. My number will be posted at the end in the credits, or you can Google me, Vivian King, and you can let me know. I'll give your name to a judge to be on a grand jury. 9 out of the 12 grand jurors have to decide whether to indict. And to indict, so in Larry Montgomery, in LaDondrell Montgomery's case, a prosecutor went into the secret proceeding with the grand juror, read the police report, said LaToya Allen identified him in a lineup, and the grand jury decides, is it more probable than not that this happened? Like 51%, 49%. Did it maybe happen? And if 9 out of 12 say, we think it might have happened, then an indictment is true billed, the person's indicted, and then they're to stand trial. And our Texas Constitution requires that all felonies are indicted by a grand jury within 90 days of the charges being filed. Does that answer your question?
Well, yes, ma'am. I got one more quick take. I'm going to let you go. I heard the bishop talking about changing the legislature. I think if there is a law in place where you have to have 4 African Americans, 4 white, 4 Hispanic,
That'd be the best
Asian
in the world.
grand jury, you might get some things happening.
Get some justice.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're going to
Wow, that's an interesting thought, caller. Thanks for calling. We're going to be
was
here
good.
every Wednesday from
That was
6:30
good.
to
That's what I
7:30. We're going to start taking call-ins at 7. We want your thoughts. We want you to Facebook. We want to get excited about our system and be a part of our system. We want to be at the table and say that we can be fair and impartial to whatever facts that we hear that come before us, because that could be your son or daughter.
Right.
And if they're a bad dude, lock them up. But make sure it's the right person.
Man.
Thank you, caller.
Let me have 1 second.
We have 4 minutes, so I'm going to give both of my guests 2 minutes, and then I'll make a wrap up, and I'll start with Minister Jeremiah. 2 minutes.
My thing with this whole system, and I agree with him, you can't say it's a jury of my peers and they all Caucasian out of Woodlands or River Oaks or Pearland. This is not no jury of my peers, and they say all us look alike. So I'm saying the truth. I'm not going to hide it. They say we all look alike. Well, we don't, because you got a pointed nose, mine flat. So they keep saying we all look alike. Me and them don't look alike. That's just a lie. So what we have to do is stop this lie. Anytime you got 12 jurors on there and all of them Caucasian, you're going to find 1 or 2 of them. This is why the lady said when it was 11-1, she said they tried to force a woman, 1 black on the jury and 11 Caucasian. This lady said they tried to force her to say it was him. She said, no, look right here. She said, no, look right here. I said, well, I'm looking at it. He robbed. He's a robber. He's a robber. It's him. So we have to have a better, these jurors being held accountable. If this boy was not in jail at the time, he would have life. He would never see his wife and children again unless they go see him. He would never come home again. He would be dead. Right. The same thing happened in Troy Davis case. The same in Shaka Sankofa. Same thing happened to me. So all I'm saying to you, Ms. King, until we stop this system and let them pick and stack all the little black socks because they can't never get on the jury, we need to at least have 4 to 5 blacks on that jury, a couple of Hispanics on that jury, and some whites on that jury. And same way if it was a white Caucasian having a trial, he should have some whites on the jury, some blacks on the jury, and some Hispanics. Exactly. And it's not a one-way thing. But 90-some% of the cases down there, and you know this, Ms. Vivian King, you was a DA, now you're an outstanding lawyer. You notice that most of the jurors, and I done seen a bunch of them, are 90-some%, 100% Caucasian. That is not a jury.
Great comment. I'm going to now, great comment, sweetheart. And you know I'm going to have you as a guest again. Let's go to
That's
Bishop.
not a jury appeal.
All right. Let's go to Bishop Montgomery.
Well,
so
once
what do you
again,
want to tell, what do you want to tell our viewers?
Once again, I thank you for allowing us to bring this to your viewing audience. And I just want to say that this is a very serious situation. My only son is up, and he's an innocent man. The only reason he went to trial in the beginning because he was seeking justice.
My God.
And he know the system, so he did not take a plea. But the system let him down. And his family and everyone that know him, they know he turned his life around since his prior convictions and served time. And he's now facing the same situation once again. And only because the DA decided to bring back the trials that the cases that they have thrown out, dismissed already. And it seemed to me, from what I've sit and observed in the courts these several months, that the DA is looking for a conviction and not justice.
My God.
And so
Okay, and I appreciate that. Viewers, thank you so much for listening to this program. It's my pleasure that I can bring current, urban, true stories to you. I want to do that every week. If you have a story that you want me to tell, please give me a call at 713-222-2019. You can find me. I'll tell your real stories. I don't want to get it from the lawyer's perspective. I want to get it from your perspective. I want us to have teaching moments. I want us to be engaged and involved in this system. I want minorities and urban people to have a voice at the table, to do the right thing and care about our communities, to make sure that the right people are in jail and the wrong people, if it's the wrong person, that they go free. Please tune in next week from 6:30 to 7:30. We will be rerunning a show, and we'll start new shows in January. It's a good show that we're rerunning the next 2 Wednesdays, so you'll be able to call in. Thank you so much for watching our show tonight. This is Truth and Justice with Vivian King.